This is Sarri from Seppo. We live in a pretty exciting world with lots of changes. Changes come and changes go at a pace that sometimes it feels that you have to be really agile to be able to stay still. And lately, I've been thinking a lot about being agile. And if agile HR practices and gamification go well together, because they are both based on similar mindsets. And I think yes. And let's take a look at why do I think this, and from the perspective of a learning organization. Yes, let's have some slides here. Yeah, here we go. So this new way of working and being in the world, they also demand of rethinking of how we are leading organizations, how we are developing them. And actually, I think HR can help find answers many of the challenges we are facing today by adopting an agile mindset. Why should we do this though? What's the benefit? What are the benefits of being agile, being able to adapt quickly to changes? That's at the heart of agile. And according to studies, they can help achieve performance improvements and improve growth, customer satisfaction, and most interestingly, they can improve employee engagement. Why do I think this is important? It's if you think of your organization, how engaged are your employees? Are they actively engaged in their work? Or are they just putting in their time and showing up for work? I wanted to know more about this. So I took a look at the Gallup Workplace Insights from 2021. They studied employee engagement experience. And they understand employee engagement as the involvement and enthusiasm of the employees in their work and their workplace. And according to studies, the engaged employees produce better business outcomes than other employees. And what is interesting is that this is across industry and irrelevant of company size or economy. So it really seems to be paying off. So what do you think? What are the numbers of engaged employees in worldwide, in the US, in Western Europe in 2021? I was really surprised to find about the numbers. It turns out that only about 1/5 of employees worldwide go in the engaged category. The US is leading with 34%. Well, that could be better still. But what really worries me is the numbers in Western Europe. It's only 11%. That really makes me go, And if we take a closer look of what's behind these numbers, look, only 11% of people under 40 years old and only 10% of males in Western Europe report feeling engaged in their work. Certainly something could be done. And I think Agile HR can help in this. Agile HR practices are about supporting people to give their best effort at company by activating the people, including them in the conversations and co-creations. And more closely then, if we look at the key drivers for employee engagement, in the past, it's been the money that interested people, satisfaction, ability to advance to be a boss, and things like that. Nowadays, and increasingly in the future, it's much more of this, the purpose of work. Why am I doing it? Meaningful work. Also, being able to develop yourself. Your boss is being of much more of a coach type of a person. And instead of annual reviews, you have ongoing conversations in the organizations, also on demand basis. So your employee can ask that, hey, I like to have this developmental conversation about my performance review. So what's sharing these is the active part. And then when we take a look at learning, traditionally, for instance, in university, learning has been much more passive. It's been teacher-oriented, it's built on remembering things, translating information, remembering it. Learning has taken place away from the workplace. Whereas nowadays we are much more in the active learning phase. It's learner-centered. It comes from problems in the real-time problems in the workplace. And it requires the learners to think and discuss and challenge and analyze information. And these are exactly the same things gamification starts from. As mentioned before, gamification builds on active and experimental learning, which requires the learners to do activities that are meaningful for them, to think, what does it mean to me, to think what they are doing and processing the content actively to make them their own. An example of gamification comes from a company that had a problem of people not knowing the skills of the other employees. There was this employee who had a paragraph of text that needed to be translated into German. It actually took him 2 weeks to find a person to help with that. So the HR started thinking, how could we improve this? And they thought, let's ask people to fill out the information, the profile information in the intranet. But they ran into a problem that people weren't enthusiastic in doing this. Only very few people put in the information. So they started thinking, well, how could we motivate the people to actually put the information, fill in their profiles? And they decided to make it into a quiz. And they made posters and placed them on the walls and picked people's interest by asking questions like, do you know who of your colleagues is obsessed with owls? Or do you know whose YouTube videos have over 1 million views? So the people wanted to play the game and find the answers for this, but there was a catch. They had to fill in their profile information first to be able to do that. So gamification was a motivation tool to actually help people do the things that the HR wanted them to do. Other examples of gamification comes from the AIDS research. Scientists had been trying to solve a problem related to a protein in the AIDS virus for 15 years with no luck. Then somebody saw that, maybe we can gamify it. Maybe we make it into a game and put it online. And lo and behold, it just took 10 days for the problem to be cracked. So this is what gamification is. It's applying game mechanics in non-game contexts. And the aim is to increase motivation and immersion. And to help in this, the element that's important in all learning is also playful, using your imagination, visualizing things. And this also links emotions to learning, which is at the center of it. It helps you remember, it helps you recall, helps you absorb the information to be learned. Personally, I like to use Bloom taxonomy when I'm thinking of gamified solutions. So first you have to remember and understand things to be able to process them more. And gamification is not so good at teaching new information, but it's much more useful for these higher order things, for applying and analyzing information, like as mentioned before, making it your own. And the sweet spot of gamification here, especially here at the top, especially when you are playing a game, for instance, with your colleagues, you can evaluate things, or you can critique things, or you can create something new. For instance, you can pick the value from your company that's most meaningful for you, and you maybe make it into a picture or a poem or something like that. So also, again, being active. So my question to you is, what skill would you like to enhance in your organization? Would it be critical thinking or evaluating? So take that as a starting point and start thinking, how we can motivate people to do that. I like to play detective and see what game thinking goes behind some gamification. Duolingo, for instance, very widely known. It is based on the realization that in order to learn language, you need to repeat things. You need to repeat the words and the new structures to be able to learn. So sorry about that. So the designers have started thinking that, how can we motivate people to keep coming back? And they come up with this idea of a streak. So every day you practice for the 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you get a flame, and for the next day you get another one, and it motivates you to keep coming back, collecting more of those days. It also uses points and levels and these kind of mechanics to help learn the language. Here are some game mechanics that can be used. Rapid feedback, for instance, is very evident in Duolingo. You type in your answer, and immediately you get if it's right or wrong. And sense of achievement is a very common mechanic that's used to motivate people. Narrative, on the other hand, in this example, is not used so much, but in many other games, you get immersed in the story. You want to know what happens next. And as I mentioned here, loss aversion was a very central motivational driver in Duolingo and helping make it success. To take a look from the Learn Geek Hype cycle, here from January 2022, if you look like blockchain and augmented reality, coaching, artificial intelligence are here at the buzz hype early exploration stage, and gamification is here much more further on the line, where it's already got evidence that it has real impact. Another example of gamification, starting from the need that you need to motivate is, for instance, it could be for a conference where you want to facilitate interaction between the visitors there. This could be done at the coffee station, having coffee cups with keywords in them, inviting people to pick up a cup of the topic that you would like to discuss the most. So then you can scan the room and see who has the red cup, and that would be easy to start conversation. Or then you can just cross out whatever word and maybe write cats on it, and people can come and peek at what you actually wrote in it. And again, it would help start conversation. But there are different kind of gamification solutions that you can do. You can do a very simple one. You can use just one game mechanic, for instance, points or levels, and that might be enough for you. Or then you might want to create a more immersive learning experience. We also had an example of integrated communications there, where we actually used the posters on the wall and integrated the intranet and communications much more there. And then at the other end, you have the thinking of the whole life as a game and self-gamification. How can you motivate yourself? How you can redesign walk roles, for instance, to increase engagement. And just a reminder here for using emotions, whichever option you choose from, is please do use emotions, keep them in mind, because they're like LED lights in your brain. They go like bling, bling, hello, pay attention, this is important. We started from saying that gamification, game thinking principles, and agile people principles are quite similar. So I collected some of the principles here. And then I marked with a star the ones that I think go well with game thinking, gamification. For instance, visualization, very important principle in Agile HR, And also in gamification, like we had the cups there, they visualize something, make it concrete, or just having a game board can just give you a sense of excitement for you. And or psychological safety. It's important when playing games or playing games with your colleagues can increase that, and that's also something that Agile HR practices build on. I also took a quick look of which organizational development initiative you could use gamification for. And all of these, the 4 categories, I think suit very well for different games and game thinking. If you have mergers and acquisitions, gamification can help people look at the different ways of working or getting to know your new colleagues. Human resource management is very self-evident with performance management, things like that. Team building, interpersonal group processes, all that. And then my absolute favorite, the strategic category. For instance, if you want to co-create a new strategy, or you want people to really dive into what the strategy means for them, you can use games for that. So in a way, games can help you have small words for big things, like strategy often is. And here again, we have the development process cycle, and I can think of gamified solutions for all of these. For instance, even gathering data or problem identification within the organization, because gamification is two-way active involvement. It's not just giving information to your employees, but also getting feedback from them. So be the main challenge you have your employees. Do you have any? Could you help motivate them through gamifying? Just to help think more about this is here I have the employee experience journey, and sorry again. So you can choose any of these, for instance, onboarding or performance enhancement, developing, or even departing. You can make a positive exit experience by making it into a game. At the same time, you can build your organizational culture, you can build your brand, or maybe even sense of purpose. And here I picked a few of these and wrote questions that maybe help you think about this. For instance, when you're hiring, are you giving feedback actively during the recruitment to the people applying to your company? You can do this through gamifying. A lot of the times, it seems that people think of gamification as something that you spruce things up a little bit, kind of like bippity boppity boo. You had your fun, now go back to work. Personally, I think gamification can be much more than that. Here are some benefits of gamification. Let me move from the side so you can actually see them. You can play pause and maybe take a look at the list. And ponder what benefits of gamification would support your business the best. I would be very interested to hear if you have any questions or just in general have a chat about gamification. And here you can have the contact information. So please be in touch, and thank you for your information. Bye.